On the 72nd episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast, we're going to be talking about the MLB free agent, some updates. We have our weekly NFL Pickems. We're going to be ranking the top 5 sports cities and ending it off with some Hall of Fame. Yay or nay? Make sure you use code HatTrick Sports when checking out at w.gg for your 10% off. Roll it! Welcome to HatTrick Sports, starring your host, Isaiah Carpenter. Bringing you the biggest sports headlines every week. This is the HatTrick Sports Podcast. All right, let's get started here. Now, we are at the middle of November. There is not a whole lot of sports happening. We have NFL, obviously. NBA is kind of starting back up. We have a little bit of NHL, college football, but baseball is pretty much done. There's some free agent stuffs going on. We're going to be ranking some stuff. We have a lot of MLB stuff, surprisingly, but, just not a whole lot of big sports news recently. So let's just start off with some MLB news. Roki Sasaki, this Japanese pitcher, is officially an MLB free agent, and all 30 teams are going after him. But I don't think the hype is as big as it should be. So obviously in the last few days, I believe he became an official free agent on November 8th, if I'm not mistaken. And he's basically another pitcher from Japan, which we've obviously seen. We've seen Imanaga, Yamamoto, even Ohtani pitchers coming from Japan. And basically, he's looking to get signed. Whoever's going to give him the most money, and maybe he wants to win. We don't really know a whole lot about him personally. We know that he absolutely dominated in the World Baseball Classic and that he's been good in Japan, in his Japan league. But it's looking like he might go to the Dodgers, which, as a Dodgers fan, he's not our first priority. And I'm being completely honest here. I would love to have him. I'll be interested to see how much he wants. I think of him as maybe like another Yamamoto. So Yamamoto last season went 7-2, a 3.0 ERA. He played in 18 games. He started all of them, 90 innings, 105 strikeouts, 1.111 WHIP. I think this Sasaki guy is going to be near that, looking at his Japan stats and stuff. And again, you can't really compare him. You have no idea what he's going to do in the big leagues here in the U.S. You just have really no idea. So I'm hoping now this isn't going to happen. I'm hoping like a team that needs pitching, like a bad team like the Marlins or whatever, pick him up for 1 year, see how he does. Again, this is not going to happen. And then he goes to L.A., depending on if he does good or not. And if he doesn't do good, then whatever, he's a bust. But, every team wants him. I feel like the hype is too high for him. I've seen some highlights of him. I obviously watched the World Baseball Classic last year. Again, don't get me wrong, I want him, but I just don't think he's the biggest priority. He's probably the third biggest free agent, in my opinion at least. I think Juan Soto's the biggest free agent on the market right now, and I think Corbin Burnes is going to be better than this Sasaki guy. And that's just a personal kind of opinion thing. Now, some people might be saying you would rather have him than Burnes, but guess what? We've seen what Burnes can do in the U.S. and in the MLB. He obviously speaks English. Now, that's not obviously a big thing. There's a lot of Spanish-speaking guys, but Japanese, it's just a big adjustment for, you saw with Ohtani in 2017, 2018, and then you're seeing with Yamamoto. It's just a big adjustment. Yamamoto doesn't fit in all that well. Imanaga, I just don't think they fit in that well yet. I think that they just have to kind of get used to everybody. We'll see. I just don't think Sasaki is as big as everybody's making it. And maybe I'm wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping that he's an absolute stud. I love to see guys, especially Japanese guys like Yamamoto, Ohtani, Imanaga, all these guys come in. And but it sounds like he's going to the Dodgers. Whatever. We'll take him. We'll take him. We'll see how much he gets paid. And that's one thing I'm interested to see, like how long is his contract going to be and how much is going to get paid. So that's basically it on Roki. A lot of questions I've been getting, obviously, with the Dodgers World Series just ending, the Dodgers winning the World Series. People are saying that the Dodgers bought their World Series. There should be a salary cap. Owners shouldn't be allowed to spend that much money. You guys have the wrong mindset. You guys are fans of a losing fan base. I hate to break it to you, but the MLB should have a salary minimum where you take a certain percentage of the total team income and just a certain percentage. Again, that's not for me to decide what that percentage is or whatever, but there should definitely not be a salary cap. You tell your owners to spend more money. It's not the Dodgers owners' fault. It's not the Dodgers' fault that they like spending money and that they like winning. Obviously, owners don't care about winning as much as the Dodgers just because they don't spend the money that the Dodgers spends, and that's honestly your team's fault. That's not the Dodgers' fault. The Dodgers didn't buy their way into the World Series. The Dodgers just were smart financially and bought the best players to make the best team, which is the end goal. The end goal is to win the World Series for any player starting in high school going all the way up. In owners, you just want to win the World Series, and if you have to spend money to do that, you have to spend money to do that. That's the name of the game. It's a business. So I just don't think that there should be a salary cap, and people are saying that there should be. They're just wrong. Owners just need to spend more money. Oh, let's talk about, did I ever? Yes, I did. All right, let's talk about a Dodgers fan being fired from his job for being seen at the championship parade. So the Dodgers recently, not really recently anymore, a week or so ago, had their championship parade, and this guy basically requested time off or took time off or called out sick or something because he was sick. He wanted to go to the parade. So I'm going to read this form that basically the employer had to fill out to fire him. So basically, effective as of November 6, 2024, his final paycheck there. The reason for separation of employment, basically why he got fired, was involuntary type, which was misconduct. And here are the notes. It says, please provide a brief explanation of the final incident that resulted in the employee's termination. And the employer wrote, employee called out work sick on Friday, November 1st. Employee was seen at the Dodgers World Series celebration the same day. Due to the call out and no coverage being available, the store was forced to close for business early. Sick pay has been denied. So this guy got fired for calling out sick because he wanted to do the Dodgers. He wanted to see the Dodgers parade. That's honestly hilarious. I think that's funny. Yeah, I don't know, obviously, this business protocol with different calling out days, request time off, or PTO, or any of that, but that's just hilarious that he got fired for that. And it sounds like it's not like a corporate job or anything, because it says no coverage being available. The store was forced to close early. And so I'm just interested to see what business this is. I think it's honestly funny. The guy can find a new job, I'm sure. But to be fired for calling out sick, and I'm sure a lot of people called out sick to go to that celebration. And I just think that's funny that that's kind of resurfaced and kind of going viral now. But yeah, all right, so again, we're just moving on. There's not a whole lot of baseball stuff. We obviously talk a lot about baseball here. I follow baseball a lot. I have a question for you guys that are watching here. How many MLB rookies do you think debuted in 2024? The line is set at over under 250.5 rookies. Comment below if it was over or under that. What do you think? Don't look it up. Don't do anything like that. And I'm not sure what we'll do for winners. I just want to see what you guys think. Do you guys think that there was over or under 250.5 rookies that debuted in 2024? I'm going to go over the top 5 or so rookies that I think debuted that had the best rookie season. So I think that Paul Skeens will ultimately win the Cy Young. Paul Skeens, he just had it. He was a great, phenomenal rookie pitcher. He just showed strikeouts after strikeout. He was very, very dominant coming out of LSU. So obviously he was one of the best rookies out there. You have Jackson Chourio. He obviously had the power and speed, and then the defense is what I think that a lot of people are kind of looking at for Chourio. You have Luis Gil, one of the best pitchers, he started out, the beginning of the season, he started out as one of the best pitchers in the league. Throughout the end of the season, he kind of leveled out, but he did great for the Yankees, and I think he's part of the reason why they ultimately made it to the World Series. You have Shota Imanaga, again, I was talking about earlier, the Japanese pitchers that are coming in from Japan. Imanaga did absolutely phenomenal. Everybody knew that he was kind of going to do that, but he transitioned smoothly from Japan. He had a sub-4 ERA. I'm not sure exactly what his ERA was, and then he had a lot of control over his innings and stuff. So I think he was a great rookie. And then Austin Wells for the Yankees. Offensively and defensively, he did good. And then behind the plate catching. He's going to be the starting catcher for the Yankees in the next few seasons. And so these are basically the top rookies. Again, there's not a whole lot MLB-wise. I'm kind of making stuff up as we go throughout this offseason. But they were your top rookies. So make sure to comment if you think there was over or under 250 and a half rookies that debuted this season. I thought there was a lot less. I would have said the under. I know what the actual answer is, but I thought there was a lot less than there actually was. 250 seems like a lot. That's just the line. But that seems like a lot of rookies that debuted this season. Let's move on to our sponsored segment. We have W Energy today. One of their newest flavors. It's the green apple, sour green apple with their secret sauce. It looks like this. So basically what we do is we take the W water bottle that we have. Again, this is all available on their website, w.gg. Make sure you use... I just spilled water everywhere. Make sure you use code HatTrick Sports when checking out for 10% off your order. It's real simple. Just open this. It's a small scoop in here. Oh, it's dug in. This is my first time trying this, so it's an honest review, an honest flavor. You just get a scoop of that. You pour that in your water. Whatever. I made a huge mess spilling that water everywhere. That's great for a podcast, spilling water all over equipment. Make sure that cap is on. Put that on here. You shake it up. Again, not their fault. I spilled water everywhere. But you shake it up. One sip. Everybody knows the rules. That's good. That's really, really good. So basically, it says on the back here, it's better than most energy drinks. There's no like jitterness or like, you know how you get like jittery after drinking a whole lot of caffeine and then you crash afterwards. Like there's none of that in this W stuff. It's honestly really, really good. Taste wise, it keeps you energized. Obviously Sundays are a big day. Film podcast, gotta watch football. You have college football the day before, work and everything. So yeah, W just helps you get through that, and then it doesn't have like a crash at the end. So I can still watch Sunday Night Football even though it's 12 hours away. One sip, everybody knows the rules. This one gets an 8.8 out of 10. It's honestly really good. Highly recommend. Go to w.gg and you can get 10% off your order by using code HatTrick Sports when checking out. So that is that. Let's move on to our NFL Pickems. Last week we went 12-2 in our NFL Pickems. Absolutely amazing. You just can't complain about something like that. So obviously the Thursday Night Football, the Bengals and Ravens, one of the best games I've seen this year so far. And then the Giants and Panthers. I'll talk more about this a little bit later, but they're playing right now as we talk. Right here, Panthers are up 17-7. I forget who I had winning that, but so we obviously aren't going to do those two games and then bye weeks and stuff. So it's going to be a little shorter of a week. But let's start it off with the Patriots and Bears. Give me the Bears. You have the 49ers and Bucks. The 49ers obviously coming off of the Super Bowl last year. The Bucks aren't that good after Tom Brady. So give me the 49ers. You have the Broncos and Chiefs. It's being played in Kansas City. The Chiefs aren't going to lose. The only loss that they might have is against the Bills later this season. The Chiefs are absolutely incredible. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl again this year. Nobody can stop them. Just nobody can stop them. So give me the Chiefs. You have the Bills and Colts. The Bills have been looking really, really good too this season. The Colts are okay, but it's being played in Indianapolis. But still, give me the Bills. You have the Steelers and Commanders. The Commanders looking good this season. Give me the Commanders. You have the Vikings and Jags. The Vikings are another team that is looking really, really good. I think they only have one, maybe two. Yeah, they're 6-2, so they have two losses before they play this game against the Jags. Give me the Vikings. You have the Falcons and you have the Saints. I know it's being played in New Orleans, but give me the Falcons. The Falcons, I think, are just a lot better than the Saints. You have the Titans and Chargers. I think this might be I think this is going to be a close game. It might be an upset, but it's being played. The Chargers are at home, so give me the Chargers. You have the Jets and you have the Cardinals. I think this is an easy I actually don't know. It's not really an easy. I'm honestly not sure who's favored in this, but the Cardinals are home. We're going to go with the Cardinals. You have the Eagles and Cowboys. America's game of the week. I mean, the Cowboys are playing, so it's got to be America's game of the week. It's being played in Dallas. The Eagles do look really, really good this season, So give me the Eagles, even though the Cowboys might have a chance at winning that. You have the Lions and Texans for Sunday Night Football. Give me the Lions. And then you have the Dolphins and Rams. I think this might be a little bit of an upset, but it's Monday Night Football. The Rams, it's being played in LA. The Dolphins to Tyreek Hill. I think that they're going to get on them this game, and I do think that the Dolphins will win Monday Night Football. That's just the upset. That might be the big upset for the week, but if I'm right, hey, I told you all before this happened. It's just great. So those are my NFL Pickems. I'll just run over it. You have the Bears, 49ers, Chiefs, Bills, Commanders, Vikings, Falcons, Chargers, Cardinals, Eagles, Lions, and Dolphins. So those are my NFL Week 10 NFL Pickems. One thing we got to talk about, NFL. Why is the Giants and Panthers game being played in Germany at 10 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock Eastern time? What are we doing? How does the negotiation work? So Germany's like, hey, we want a game here. And what is the NFL like? Yeah, we don't really want you guys to have a good game, so we'll give you guys the two worst teams in the league. And Germany's like, fine, we'll take it. And then now they're playing the Panthers and Giants in this. Like, what are we doing? What idea was this to have the worst game of the week, the morning game in Germany? Like, usually NFL is trying to expand into these different countries. Like, have the Eagles-Cowboys game there. Have literally any other game being played there. Now, like, literally any other game being played there other than the Giants and Panthers. I don't know what the NFL in Germany was thinking about that, but whatever. Let's talk about yesterday. Well, by the time this comes out, it wasn't yesterday. But you have some college football news. I don't always talk about college football. I follow it a little bit here and there. It's just a lot to keep up with just because there are so many teams. But Ole Miss is being fined for storming the field after upset against Georgia. There were 16 seconds left on the clock. Georgia could have come back, and basically Ole Miss storms the field. Obviously, it's a big upset. Georgia was ranked, I believe, number 3 at the time, and it's a big upset. I understand Ole Miss fans aren't really thinking about, like, hey, there's 16 seconds left on the clock. Georgia could win. And then, ultimately, Ole Miss kind of should get fined for that, because if Georgia wins, hey, this may ruin Georgia's season. This did kind of ruin Georgia's season. And it's like, Ole Miss just like prevented them from doing it. From non-football things, they obviously tear the goalpost down. They put in a little, like, I don't know, like a little dirty pool or something. I'm just not a fan of, like, teams storming the field after upsets like that. I'm fine with doing it. But make sure the game's done. Like, make sure that the clock has hit 0. Even if they need the ball, whatever, like, make sure the clock hits 0 so stuff like this doesn't happen. Ole Miss is being fined. I've heard $250,000 they have to pay to Georgia, and then I believe they might get fined up to $1.2 million to the NCAA. Again, I'm not 100% sure about that, but there were 60 seconds left on the clock. Like, it's not like they were just going to knee it and call it a day. Like, no, there was still time left for Georgia to come back, and I don't think Georgia would have come back, but, you know, you just can't leave that up to, like, what ifs. You can't leave sports up to what ifs, especially like that, where it could have been prevented. So, you know, that's just a little college football news for the week. Let's move on to our top 5 sports cities in the United States. Now, this is based off of MLB, NFL, NHL, and NBA. These are the best cities. Now, at number 5, you have Philly. Now, some might be saying, hey, Philly's ranked too low. Philly should be number 1. I just don't think that they have the teams to do that. So they have the Phillies, Eagles, 76ers, and Flyers. You know what? They have a very, very strong sports fan base. They're known for, like, their intensity and loyalty to their fan base, obviously. The Phillies, obviously, have been doing good recently, and same with the Eagles. But yeah, that's just pretty much it. They're at number 5. At number 4, you got to represent the West Coast. West Coast, best coast. You have the Los Angeles. You obviously have the World Series champions, the Dodgers, along with the Chargers, Lakers, Rams, Clippers, Kings. You have all these. You have a lot more teams, and I think the Dodgers really carry the West Coast. Again, not trying to brag or nothing like that, but we are 2024 World Series champions, just for you guys that have forgotten. But they have the biggest names in sports with the Lakers and Dodgers, and then the obviously legacies, and then the sports culture there. You just can't beat it. You just cannot beat it. Dodger Stadium is a major landmark in all of sports, and, you know, That's why it's at number 4. At number 3, you have Chicago. You have the South Side. You have the Cubs, White Sox, Bears, Bulls, and Blackhawks. I say that you should have ranked them. This may be ranked a little bit too high. Maybe switch Chicago and Philly, or that may have been my bad. But obviously, you have the Cubs, White Sox, Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks. Like I said. They have one of the most passionate fan bases in the country. Loyal Cubs fans at Wrigley Field. Wrigley Field kind of carries the Chicago sports category, and diehard Bears and Bulls fans. The Bulls, the 90s Bulls, you got to give it some. I also did put that into place. I thought about that when ranking these. So that's why Chicago, it's at number 3. They made podium. At number 2, you have Boston. You have the Red Sox, Patriots, Celtics, and Bruins. I mean, what a great city to be a sports fan. If I'm living in Boston and I'm fans of the Red Sox, Bruins, Celtics, and all these teams, I would love being a sports fan there. The reputation, just loyal fan base, winning tradition. Obviously, the Red Sox have a good winning tradition. Patriots, you can't beat the Brady and Belichick era. Celtics, you have all these great guys, and then Bruins, you just can't beat it, except for one city. We are missing one city, and that is New York City. You have the Yankees, Mets, Giants, Jets, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, and Islanders. All of these teams just in one city. That it's obviously number 1, right? New York obviously has the best sports culture. You just can't beat New York City sports culture. Historic franchises. You have the Yankees, Knicks, the rivalries in these cities. Just Madison Square Garden, Yankee Stadium. You have all these passionate fan traditions, and New York City is obviously the best sports city in all of the United States. So, again, maybe should we go worldwide next? Maybe there are some cities worldwide that are better, but New York City, that's your top 5 sports cities. Let's move on to some NBA news. Bronny has officially made his G League debut. Let's look at some stats of his. Now, Bronny, all the hype is around his dad. He got to play with his dad. If his dad wasn't LeBron James, nobody would know he was. G League stats. We're gonna get these stats right. Here we go. We're looking for some stats. G League stats. 1 second. This might take a second. But yeah, if you guys are just now joining on TikTok Live, we are on TikTok Live pretty much every week filming the podcast. No, I just... 1 second. So yeah, he went 2 for 9 for field goals. He went 0 for 4 in 3 points, 1 for 1 from the line. He had 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 5 turnovers, 3 fouls. He just didn't. You know what? It's Bron. He's making his G League debut. It was sold out. It was a sold out crowd. There's not really much you could say about him. Sure, he made his NBA debut with his dad. He looked absolutely horrible. At least he looked a little bit better in G League, but again, not great, not phenomenal. I just don't think he's there. I think a lot of hype was a few years ago. Hey, Bronny's going to be the next big thing, playing with LeBron, playing with his dad, having his dad's legacy. No, he's just not going to have that. He's only known because of his dad. I'm just not a big Bronny fan, if I'm being honest. I'm a LeBron fan, whatever. You got to appreciate greatness. Sure, it's coming soon. But just Bronny's just... He's getting fame for nothing. It's like a dictatorship kind of thing. It's like a monarchy. He's just getting fame because of his dad, even though he hasn't done anything. So that's just my thoughts on Bronny's G League debut and Bronny himself. Let's move on to Hall of Fame, yay or nay. All right, Hall of Fame, yay or nay. Dave Roberts, now coming off of the World Series win, managerial Hall of Fame. So Dave Roberts, manager stats. So he has been, I believe, managing for 8 seasons. I want him as a manager. Yeah, so since 2016, he's been with the Dodgers since 2016. He was with the second of 3. I don't know what that's about. So he's been with the Dodgers for 3 years, 2 World Series championships. Could have been 3 if the Astros didn't cheat in 2017. So imagine if he managed 8 seasons, winning World Series 3 of those 8. That would have been absolutely crazy. His winning percentage in his career is .627 with over 850 wins, over 500 losses. He's managed over 1,300 games. Let's see. I think what really carries him. One second. What really carries him is that he's just so dominant. Now, sure, he's handed a team pretty much every season, but at the same time, not everybody can manage a team and go win 25%. 25% of his seasons manage winning the World Series. That just does not happen. So I think it's a yay. I know I'm a Dodgers fan, and I know that Dave Roberts has been in the hot seat. Like, if he didn't make it far in this year's playoffs, his job would have been on the line. But I do think it's a yay. Dave Roberts does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, so that is a yay. So, yeah, he is in the HatTrick Sports Hall of Fame as a manager. Again, at some point, we're going to get a plaque, or we're going to do something for all these Hall of Fame inductees into the HatTrick Sports Hall of Fame. But that is basically it for this episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Thank you guys for watching the 72nd episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Make sure you follow us wherever you follow us on social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. You can go to the shop app, find all of our amazing merchandise. Go to w.gg, use HatTrick Sports when checking out to use for 10% off your order. And we will see you guys next week for episode 73.